loneliness. So I'd never thought about that loneliness part of people coming to the Philippines to find a relationship, or coming to the Philippines to engage with other foreigners, because when they're in their country, whether it's the UK, whether it's the US or Canada or Australia, you get to a certain age and the parameters change. The value of your life, or the value of what you have become used to with your group of friends and the group of people that you know, starts to diminish because of family moving on. That's one. Bereavement within your friends because of illness, or their life expectancy has changed, and you could end up as a foreigner, being lonely, being on your own.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise.
Right, it's very, very hot today here in Davao. Really, really hot. I think there was I got a tag came through this morning. I said it's 40 degrees today. So yeah, I'm waiting for somebody, waiting for an American friend of mine, comes from Hawaii, so he'll turn up. But there's a graduation today. Lots of young women walking around in nurses' uniform, a white, pristine white with a green dress and a tunic over the top. Must be 200 to 300 of them all walking around. But it's they're getting their pin, they're getting their graduation for their nursing, and massive contribution to the health service around the world from the Philippines and nursing. Oh, thank you, Mum. I've got my cookie. Oh, dear. There we go. Let's have just one lick. Let's savour it. I do like the cookies here, the oatmeal cookie and the raisin cookie. They don't put any sugar in it. It's made with flour and oats and honey and raisins and butter. Really, really nice. But I have to get here earlier. So wait another lick. Oh, lovely. So croissant will be coming. Okay, to today's vlog is loneliness, and it's the first time I was talking to one guy, and he was saying the reason he came here was he was in the US. His wife had passed away. His family had all grown up and they'd gone around the world and they were doing all those things, and his nucleus of friends in the US were gradually passing away, and he got tired of keep going to funerals and bereavements for friends and colleagues and stuff that he'd actually known in the US, and he turned around and said that he was lonely. So a friend of his said, why don't you travel? And the first place he travelled was to Manila. But he didn't like Manila. He found it too toxic and too much hustle and bustle and pollution and rubbish and stuff like that. And then he went to Cebu, and he didn't like Cebu because there were too many foreigners there, and it didn't feel right for him. And then he came to Davao on the 2nd of September, and he's living here at the moment. And he's got some money. Don't get me wrong, he's got some money, but he's found himself a girlfriend, and she's got 2 children. He's 72, she's 29, but the bit that he actually I found interesting was he turned around and said, I don't feel lonely. I have somebody that I can talk to, somebody I can share my day-to-day experiences with. I can go shopping. I don't just sit there watching television, having a couple of beers. He likes an old-fashioned. That's what he was drinking when I met him on Sunday. And then the other guy, very, very similar, was in the US, in Michigan, and didn't like that he was going out on his own, and the only place that he could turn around and meet people was at senior citizens clubs and senior citizens rallies and old people's golf tournaments. Because when he went and he did some travelling, there wasn't this networking of people because people perceived him to be too old. And when he tried to get a couple of dates of women in their 50s and their 40s, the expectation from the women was, well, we're looking for something a little bit younger, not old like you. It's a bit heartless, really, isn't it? But that's life, isn't it? That's how life works. I'm having a cup of coffee, very, very nice. So I normally meet up on a Wednesday at 1 o'clock at Garden by the Bay. So I've invited both the guys along because I'm not lonely. I've got Annie and I've got her friends, and I've got the friends I'm making like Scott and Ian and Greg and George and Jim and Frank. So I've made this little group of people that I meet and I go around, but I don't meet them all the time. So it was quite opening for me for this guy to turn around and say that loneliness was why he came to the Philippines. Wasn't looking for a date, wasn't looking, he was travelling, and he decided that he likes davao, and the other American likes davao as well. He was in Dumaguete for 18 months, but he found it very difficult in Dumaguete because everybody was going down the local bar, or they're going to this club, or they're going to this social club and everything like that. And he met a girl in Dumaguete that came from Calinan, which is near Davao, just about an hour away. So he moved to Davao. He's got a condominium, and he's looking to turn around and find a property. But it's the first time in 8 years that loneliness from old people or retired seniors here in the Philippines that has come up in a conversation with me. It's always about finding a relationship. It's always about seeing parts of the world and travelling, and then people turn around and say, oh, I'm meeting up with people, we're going to pay pool. Oh, well, we're going to do this, I'm going to travel to Cebu. But loneliness came out of both these guys, which I found quite enlightening, really. It's a bit of a double-edged sword, really, because you come here, but you can go out with young, vibrant, energetic women, and that invigorates old people like me to turn around and stimulate our brain and stimulate our body and stimulate our exercise. I've still got friends here that will sit in their room watching TV all day, smoking 60 cigarettes a day, drinking 8 or 9 cans of beer a day. They're never going to go, those guys. That's what they want, and that's their life, and they're happy with that. But it's interesting, loneliness. First time I've come across that one. So I'm going to enjoy my coffee, trying to get my croissant, and then I'm going to have some lunch with Scott. Be back at lunchtime. Becoming a grumpy old man, yeah, with one foot in the grave, and I see a few people here now that are actually foreign retired travellers. They are these dating nomads. They are these people that come to the Philippines. It's not just the Philippines, there are other Asian countries, because the difference is that there is respect for seniors here. There is that value that seniors hold within the Philippine culture. And yeah, I was talking to these guys the other day, and I was really interested in how and why they were here. They weren't here as expats dating or anything. They were travelling, and they'd actually decided to stay because there was this engaging, friendly, hospitable group of people, men and ladies and women, that engaged and embraced the foreigner, and making them feel comfortable, making them feel safe, making them feel part of something again, rather than back in their own country. They were part of a group that was getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and I can understand that. I have a group of around 15 to 20 people I know here that I meet and see, and they're Filipino and they're foreigners, and but as we get older, that group will diminish, but it will be taken up by the young and the middle-aged Filipino and Filipina people that I know here in the Philippines, and it's quite reassuring, really. So yeah, I'm having my ice cream, stracciatella. They're only doing ice cream. They got a little Bayakubo here now. There we go. There's a little Bayakubo, because they're extending it. I don't know how they're extending it. They put all the ice cream out the front of here. But anyway, I'm going to go to Garden by the Bay tomorrow around 12 o'clock. Catch up with George. Chill out. I mentioned earlier about these students that are walking around in these nurses' outfits of white shoes that are pristine, white stockings. They got a green dress with a white tabard, and then they got a nurse's hat. They look absolutely stunning, And I spoke to one of the girls, because I don't know where they came from. She turned around and said they're from Brockenshire Medical Hospital from downtown. And very nice. And they're here to pick up their pin and to pick up their graduate certificate. Very nice. But anyway, like, share, subscribe. Now guys,
tall buildings, as the chemicals they take us higher. The night's young, it has just begun, as she puts her hand in mine.